Oh. We're here.
All right, everybody. We are here with our pre-recorded match between Eviscerate and OBOY. It was a hack, ladies and gentlemen, on ARP, and the ban list against the hack is so long. No exhaust perk, nothing else really on the side of the survivors, so it comes down to all the coordination your team can bring up here. It was Xeno coming up on the side of the killer for Eviscerate here, and we are looking forward to see what Xeno can do here. And that's a quick injury onto Daimao here, running towards the main building, but that's a really great start for the hack. We do see a sloppy butcher being brought as well, so whenever the survivors are fully pulling back to go for a reset, which we could predict quite often on this map, it will take a little bit longer here, but the mind game's not going to work out so far. But there's a body block set up, and that's going to be Rocket taking another injury right here. So 2 injuries for Xeno just 60 seconds into the trial. A very unexpected start for a hack.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're going to see a lot of distance being gained from Rocket right now, however, going to be able to make it towards another pallet. However, the trap is set up, but not enough to cut off the survivor. They're going to be able to make one more fill, meaning Xeno's going to have to place another trap. However, that's such a well-placed trap, meaning the survivor can't really go anywhere, forcing them into the corner, but now going across this side means they might be able to make some distance and make another pallet. And yep, that's exactly what they're going to be able to do. Xeno with a little bit of miss-zoning right there means that we will see the pallet stun coming out from a Rocket right now, making a lot of distance now over towards the shack. Xenos, however, is going to take this opportunity to set up even more traps. We do see those rusty shackles being brought on, meaning that the survivors won't know exactly when they trigger one of these traps. But Xeno was potentially going to try and place a trap right there, but the pallet is just going to be dropped, meaning that Rocket is going to be able to make even more distance now over towards this hill, but Xeno's going to give up on him and instead going to head over for this survivor, who I believe was I'm So Moody. Going to be found out now. Boo! Able to sneak behind him, however, and make it back towards the hill. And now maybe a balanced landing coming through? No, instead going to go on the side that doesn't give you a stagger or that balanced landing. But a mind game from Xeno will result in a hit now onto I'm So Moody. Some distance will be gained, but Xeno is in such a good position here, able to have a lot of people injured now, forcing the reset onto all of these survivors.
A reset being forced is so good for a slow killer like the hack that is lacking control if nobody's stepping into the traps, because that is giving you time to scout the map a little bit, see which loops need a little bit of protection with a few traps here. We also see that Xeno is carrying 6 traps with him still, so he might use them for the chase or he just wants to set them down. However, the web right now is not really that extended. It's going to be another beautiful pallet leaving the trial here. Obi just keeping it safe here. Meanwhile, we see the full reset while we have one generator already taken out. I would say the average thing you have to expect when you go in as a hack against a coordinated survivor team. The question is, when is Xeno able to take over? Nice attempt here for a fake, but unfortunately the distance between survivor and killer too low, so this is not going to come into effect here. We do see a few noise notifications as the survivors are celebrating on the top mid here. Is it going to be a nice mind game on the TNL? It's not. When in doubt, you just hold W, and that's what Dwight is doing really beautiful here, just holding W through the pallet as well, going towards the bottom side here, now dropping it in the right moment. OBOY sacrificing a few pallets here and a little bit of firework as well, but so far the survivors definitely in charge of the game here.
No, yeah, definitely. We're going to see Xeno placing some more traps, however, not able to get their first hook in yet. That's going to mean that it's going to be very hard for Xeno to try and snowball off when you don't have a hook, and the survivors are definitely not going to allow that, because as soon as Xeno does have a hook, he has the advantage here in this game. But already 2 generators are going to be completed for the side of OBOY, bringing them up to 4 points into this first match. Now going to be able to make the fastball on the window as well on the side of Daimao. Means that Xeno is going to have to drop this chase. No, he's going to continue it with a fat mind game, able to find Daimao out the door and will get a hit because of that hover. Ooh, no, a little bit of swing and a miss there coming out from Xeno means that the survivor is going to make even more distance away. Now is going to be able to go onto the opposite side of the map where we don't really see a web of trap setup from Xeno there, meaning that Xeno is going to be dry and alone. A 110 M1 killer here at this main building side of the map, meaning that's going to be very, very hard for Daimao to go down here, and it would be insane to actually see it down. But Xeno will now finally place a trap, but that's just going to give Daimao more distance. However, are they able to make a filler? That's the question. We see one here. We see another healthy survivor as well, potentially able to come in for a body block. So this still is a great position for Xeno to be, for the survivors to be in, but not for Xeno. Another filler is going to be found by Obi, who is found out here in the corner as well, but not able to connect the hit just yet. A swing and a miss once again. Try to force the pallet drop, but it's not going to be enough. The mind games try to come through. He tries the whole W, but it's not going to be enough. Oh boy makes the vault. He makes another vault now, and now we see Rocket coming in for the body block, able to make him all the way over to this filler as well. He might not even have to play around the body block right now, just instead will be able to go around and around again and again. Rocket will take the M1, but it's not going to be enough. Instead, now Xeno has to switch targets, but if he switches onto Rocket right now, he could potentially force them to break a trap, but no, going to kick the generator here, apply a Columbine, apply that dragon script, but it's not going to be enough. A survivor hasn't, who is not injured right now, are on the opposite side of the map, so Xeno's not going to get any value out of this dragon script, only going to get the value out of that Columbine currently. However, really what's important right now is Xeno is able to get his down, as we've seen another generator pop, giving OBOY even more points recently, bringing them up to 6, meaning that Xeno really is in the strongest position that he can be right now, if he's able to get it down. But yeah, that down onto the Rocket will be very, very huge for him.
Very, very nice down. Now you have lost 3 generators, but we have seen hacks that are going with the 0 stages into the end game, and now you can also make sure that you potentially catch off a rescuer, and they are already rotating over here. So really, really good work so far by our survivors. Now 4 generators here, but also good pullback from Xeno. Going to be interesting to see how many additional stages are actually able to come in here. So that's going to be very, very interesting one before we go into the end game. Obi is now going down. That is going to be hook stage number 2 on this beautiful hill right here. So you can also use your traps to make sure that the survivors do not have access to the unhook that easy, but you prioritize the gem kick here with Call of Brian. 1 over here, very likely 1 over here as well. So making sure that nobody is having access to the hill for free here. 6-6 at the moment. A very, very tight result so far, but it is going to, oh, actually it's 6-8, my bad, with the 4th generator there. But it's going to be spicy in the end game, because Xeno is going to be under pressure. You really want to get more additional stages. On the other hand, you can't really blame him, because he is playing a slow killer at the moment. He is playing a killer that needs mistakes of the survivor team to become stronger and stronger. And oh boy, besides these 2 hook stages that were maybe coming in a little bit too early and not in the end game there, they have done a very beautiful watch. You can already see that Xeno is preparing for the end game here.
Yes, trapping those exit gates and returning now back towards the hook, trying to make sure that the survivors can't come in and potentially get a save against him right now. It's going to be very, very difficult for the survivors to come in, as Xeno has now set up a new web over here. And like you said, setting up for that in-game, trapping the exit gate means that the survivors aren't going to be able to open that door nearby as well, making the save even more dangerous. OBOY is going to hit that 2nd stage, bringing Eviscerate up to 8, but OBOY is going to finish that last generator, bringing them up now to 10 points. A lead for OBOY here, but honestly, against the Hag, that's usually what you expect. You know, Hags don't really do well in comp, because you can just play it slow as the survivors, make sure that you're not making that many mistakes, and ensure that they really can't do anything against you. We see some insane mind games coming out from Xeno on this 4 lane as a 110, but it's not going to be enough. We see ImSoMoody playing out so well on these tiles so far, able to make the window as well, but it's not going to be enough. This should be hit now with Bloodlust kicking in, but ooh, a little bit of juking from ImSoMoody. I lost him. It seems Xeno's lost him as well, only now able to get the M1 on the back. They're going to run towards Shaq, no doubt, or potentially even this hill. No, instead, just going to stay, and Xeno is going to stay nearby as well, trying to cut them off on this 4 lane. They are going to have to play a back and forth here. We see the mind games coming out, and now we'll see the down coming out onto ImSoMoody. In the meantime, we saw Rocket get saved. Now the hook on, or OBOY gets saved, and now the hook onto Moody comes out. I believe this is a fresh hook, which would be a great end result for Xeno. Zeno able to get a fresh hook out, and yes, that is. It's going to be 3 more points and potentially 4 after this if he's able to keep this hook going. But you have to keep in mind, Zeno doesn't have a web over here anymore. He's not going to be able, he's going to have to try and set up because he's not going to be able to really stay up in chase if the survivors come in right now. He's going to have no real defenses to keep them away, and because of that, you see Zeno just setting up a circle around his hook, preventing the survivors from coming through. We see the exit gate in the distance has been opened. 1 survivor, 2 survivors, 3 survivors. They're all going to leave. We know that we only have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stages coming through, meaning that only potentially we could see, you know, a couple points coming in for the way of Oh Boy Extra on those escapes. So we'll go to now the campfire chance, since we don't have a roster screen coming in for these segments, but we'll tally up those final scores. What do you think about that game so far, Direwolf?
Yeah, huge move there with the fresh hook in the end. I think it's a good move from Oh Boy to make sure that they are taking the 3 out here. They could have taken the risk, but on the other hand, the exit gate was very far away on the other side of the map. Not really going to be the easiest one to carry it all the way up there. So it is quite difficult to make it, and especially in trial number 1, and especially against a hack where you want to keep the stages as low as possible, I don't think risk in the end game is the right choice. So I agree with the boy. I think they played well. I also think Zeno played well here. 6 stages for hack. It's definitely a good result against a coordinated team. So trial number 2 is going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah, and we'll see that after a very short break.
Alright everybody, time for the second trial here, back on the hack with Daimao. Now, we have seen 6 stages coming in across 3 survivors, so you either get 6 stages across the entire team, or you score 7 stages in order to win. Let's see how Zeno, Red, Arima and Laser are playing this out here. Laser also promoted to the head of balance in DBDLeague. Congratulations on that, after Stogalio has left competitive DBD. That earlier was also his final match. Let's see what the survivors are up to. Daimao
gets a hit!
Set the web here, but a very early hit.
Could potentially get it down if he forces Laser.
And, there is going to be not that far away from the trap, so good decision here to move towards the top left. Otherwise, that would have been really, really dangerous, but he needs to throw this very, very valuable resource on the truck. So Daimao already doing a good work, and now we are in the corrupted area. Good news for the survivors, but also could just commit over here. But Daimao decides to go back towards the midsection. 5 traps not set, so you have a few down here. Maybe a survivor being caught a little bit off guard. This one here, very good trap as well for the circle loop around this pallet here, but seems like not catching the survivor just yet. There's our Nancy now. Arima in the next chase. Is he going for the window? That's going to be the case. Good mind game here by the survivor, keeping it safe, and that also gives time to heal Laser. So Eviscerate looking strong here in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, Daimao has to leave this chase. They got the Bloodlust, but that's all they wanted. Now we're turning back towards the other generators. They found a survivor, but forced to go for Arima since they're, you know, scrolling down on that screw wheel in order to get those traps going. We see Daimao now continuing the chase onto Arima, placing another trap in a similar location as where they found them. But the real question is whether or not they're going to be able to force Arima into another trap. That's going to be what is going to spell disaster for the team, or another long chase. Daimao able to set up another trap, forcing Arima into locations where other traps are set up. Very, very smart of him. However, the survivor knows exactly where those traps were set up, so knows to take distance. Now heading over toward the crane, able to make this pallet as well. No trap just set up just yet, and is going to continue now towards the main building. Are they going to be able to make this Philly though? I think they are. That 110 really going to be biting on the ankles of Daimao. The trap is set up. However, they should be able to make some more distance, maybe potentially to the main building, but no, they'll vault. But Daimao instantly teleports, and they instantly fall back, meaning that Daimao is not going to be able to get a hit just yet. They set up another trap, but Arima takes that opportunity to make some distance and makes it to yet again another filler pallet. This is what's going to spell disaster for Daimao, not able to force the survivor to run into these traps. You know, we saw Arima head over and vault over into one of his traps, but not able to really capitalize on that because Daimao instantly teleported. We see now Laser ran into a trap, but Daimao wasn't able to capitalize on it. Now going to go into the chase with them. However, However, we see Zeno getting the stun and taking the aggro away from Laser onto themselves. Now a full health survivor. However, we should see the hit coming through very, very soon because of that. But with that hit, they will make distance, and with that distance, they will increase this chase's length for a very long time. Daimao knows that, and so instead of continuing the chase on to Zeno here, they're going to return and set up more traps on this main building side of the map. Still, no hook to come through. However, Eviscerate has done 2 more gens, bringing them up to a total of 19 points right now, and it's looking very, very scary for OBOY here. Daimao needs to get a hook as soon as possible.
There's going to be a lot to do for Daimao here. We don't have a hook stage just yet. Yes, the injuries are feeling nice, especially 3 across the board. Always good to have such pressure over these survivors, but eventually you need to turn them into a very, very needed points, and therefore hook stages, and that's not what Daimao is able to do just yet. 3rd generator coming out in the distance. Laser still on a run here, taking the most out of nothing. There's 1 trap right there, so that's going to be tricky. And also catching the next survivor, our Nancy Arima, who's around and was potentially lurking for a pallet save or something wild. There's going to be another trap right here. Daimao now cutting down all the loops, and Eviscerate still able to find a route through these traps here and making it happen to stay alive now all the way back towards the midsection. The time is ticking on the side of OBOY's killer. You really, really want to make sure that you do get it down anytime soon. Is it not going to be enough for this trap to trigger right here? We do have a healthy Adam coming in for a body block as well. Eviscerate just a little bit too strong right now. Daimao struggling, and we really, really need to get the down here.
Yes, Daimao isn't going to be able to find it just yet, though. Has to go on to this chase. We do see the trigger, but that's on to Zeno, a healthy survivor, meaning that only the injured will come through. However, now they're going to run around this trapped filler power. However, Daimao is going to have to play this perfectly if they want to force Zeno to not be able to take distance, and that's not what's going to come through. Zeno, however, is in a tricky situation as they have to run into one of these traps, but Laser takes the aggression instead and is able to take a hit onto Daimao, meaning that Zeno now is able to take this window and chase around this main building without that door being broken just yet. The wall will stay up. Daimao now needs to chase around and still needs to get it down onto Zeno. However, the trap's going to be triggered, but not by him, by Red this time. They're all going to trigger and take turns taking hits. Arima, I would guess, would be next here taking a hit for Zeno, and Daimao is just going to be in a situation where he really can't injure Zeno or another survivor faster than those survivors can heal themselves in the distance. Laser will get healed, and Zeno is going to be able to take distance all the way over towards this very, very safe pallet over here in this jungle gym, and throws down the cracker to get rid of the trap from the Hag that cleanses the traps. But in the meantime, we see Laser getting taking a hit because they triggered a trap. Daimao thought it was going to be Zeno's getting the trap triggered right there, but it was just a second later, meaning that Laser was able to take away with the blame. And ooh, very well played from Zeno right there, able to just try and fake it, gets the any means necessary pallet back up, runs into that trap, and then immediately drops it right after into Daimao's face, meaning that he can't get the hook. But ooh, just while I was saying that, we do see now the down coming onto Zeno, and a hook should be soon as well.
It's going to be now the very, very nice first stage Daimao really wanted. I say it's a surprise that no generators have been popped since then, because Daimao was busy for a little bit. Yes, survivors were involved. Yes, survivors were busy trying to distract Daimao here, but it was still a lot of time potential. At least the bottom generator, I was just about to mention it, should be done at this point, and there it is. So we do need at least 6 more stages or 5 stages across the entire team to make sure that OBOY is taking the win here. A huge task with the Hag, a huge task with just 1 generator remaining. The only good news is that you have the 3 gen here on the top side, but we do see the typical strategy against a killer like that. For example, against an Evan as well. You do take the hit, you do rotate towards the safe area, and then you're making sure that you're coming back all reset and all safe, taking body blocks as well to make sure sure that your teammates are reaching the midsection of the AAP. Now all these survivors of Eviscerate back down there, they can heal, they can come back up. Damao will have a little bit of time to set new traps to make sure that his empire, we could say it here on the top side, is protected a little bit. But that's going to be all. Eventually we will need a survivor mistake. If that is not going to happen, there's not much Damao will be able to do.
Yeah, that definitely is true. We do see the hit onto Zeno, getting the down. However, you wanted the down onto Laser, wanted a fresh look, wanted those 3 extra points. Oh boy, right now is sitting at 19, Eviscerate at 23, and another gen popped would put them at 25. It really comes down to whether or not Daimao able to make up in this in-game with that Noed. That's really going to be the big factor right now, and whether or not we see OBOY overtaking this little bit of a point disadvantage. Zeno now on the hook. That's going to give OBOY another 2 points, bringing them up to 21. The gap is closing. Eviscerate's only at 23. However, they should be able to lengthen it a little bit more with another gen being popped. Daimao isn't going to be able to get onto red just yet. We see the trap right there, but it's not going to be triggered, so not even that distance is going to be gained. Instead, now we're just going to have Daimao forced to hold W, and he leaves the survivor at the TNL wall. A very interesting play there, because I think if you're trying to play for stages right now, you try and force the down onto red and get those 3 more stages. However, maybe potentially thinking the survivors are working on the generators, doesn't want to waste any time at all, and instead will return back to the hook. However, Laser, the only non-injured survivor, is going to be able to take the hit, meaning Daimao once again has to try and get into a chase with the survivor instead of taking a trap. That's going to be very, very dangerous for him, as the survivors have shown time and time again how willing they are to just go and try and make distance and get away. Because of that, we see Laser now coming towards back, trying to body block, but I wonder why he decided to body blocker there, as Zeno was dead on hook. That would have been a very, very good result if you're able to get the other 3 survivors out and only having Zeno dead. However, Arima another gets healed and takes a hit onto the trap, meaning that Zeno can now return back to where Laser just went down and potentially get him up off the floor, but no, it doesn't seem like he's going to go for that. Instead, Laser is going to be picked up right now, giving another 3 points to OBOY and making them take the lead. However, like I said before, this last gen can be popped at any time at all, and one more generator pop will put the lead back into Eviscerate and put them into the advantage coming into the end game. However, we have to keep in mind that comeback factor that we will see from OBOY thanks to the Noed.
Yeah, the Noed is going to be a huge factor here, and we are moving closer and closer towards the win condition of 7 stages if you're not getting them across the team, because Laser here could be confirmed into the 2nd stage. It doesn't look like the last generator is coming out anytime soon, so if you have these 4 stages, then get the fresh hook with the Noed, that could be the 7 stages you're looking for. So OBOY is really, really close there, and I agree with the choice of the body block. Potentially they were thinking that they don't want to get into the 3v1 scenario, but then on the other hand, you were close to getting that final generator done during the mid game, so that could have been an option for you. It's going to be a firecracker with not that much of an effect here, so it is just going to be Daimao lurking around the hook, placing the traps as well, and you have everything going for you, right? Here, being at the top mid also gives you access to the generators, making sure that you have a good eye on the progress, and in the meanwhile, you can just casually camp Laser into hook stage number 4 in a few seconds here.
Ooh,
so everything going for
yeah.
Daimao. Really, really strong work by the killer of OBOY here. And our Nancy caught out Arima running behind the main building. Laser now in the 2nd stage down there. So
wonderful
this is now also
pathing.
going to be a very dangerous, a very, very good one, throwing off the killer, but that should be run into the trap, or the additional pathing is going to lead into a normal M1. Now you have the dangerous traps right there. You need to make sure that you do not cross that one, but the survivor's taking the survivor off the hook right here. That's going to be a hit onto Ace. OBOY will be forced to go for a full reset on the bottom side once again, which can lead into a kick with Call of Brian, which would mean that the 3-gen is still intact.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very hard for the survivors to now try and break, since the trap hag has been set up, the web is laid, and now Daimao can just go back and forth between these generators and force the survivors to go and reset. That Sloppy Butcher is also going to give them even more time with that Call of Brian. Zeno, the last healthy survivor, was inside the web, but now should be taking a hit, but yes, just barely. I was going to say no because of the 110, but yes, just barely. Hag will connect that hit onto Zeno, but Zeno is going to, I was going to say run into a trap, but no, that's Laser instead going to be found in the trap. Xeno ran into one again, but this is something that we've seen time and time again. Laser and Xeno are calling out exactly when Xeno needs to run into a trap so that Laser takes a trap just a little bit earlier. That forces Daimao to either wait and look at that trap, or as a Hagman usually does, just automatically scroll down on their mouse wheel as fast as possible. But either way, it's going to waste time, and because of that, Daimao isn't able to get the down onto Xeno until now, which means that this generator is very, very close to popping, but isn't going to pop just yet. Xeno on the floor right now. This will be him out of the game if Daimao tries to take this hook, I believe. So this could be very, very risky for the survivors, since now OBOY is in a much, much better position than they were against Eviscerate earlier.
Now going to be in the next corner here, the next comp corner of the day. It's going to be the hook behind the main building here. So that is going to be hook stage number 5. Slowly but slowly, it's going to be more and more tricky for Eviscerate. 7 are allowed, or 6 stages across the entire team would already too many. So you need that 5th generator. You need it now. You want to go into the end game. You want to take your survivors out of the door, but Daimao is still able to keep an eye on them, still able to keep them together, and doing a really, really good job here. So it is now the rotation from Arima back towards the bottom side. You really want to make sure that you're not too close at Daimao, and he doesn't really worry. He's happy just taking the eye on the generator and making sure that nobody is repairing that for free. So doing a really, really good work here, and so far it looks like OBOY's actually in the control, which is not only surprising, it's also a great evidence for how much experience Daimao has on the killer. One of the underrated killers, I have to say. You usually remember Daimao on the survivor side for good gameplay, for very cheeky actions, but not on the killer gameplay. So right here we also see a beautiful example of someone who was underestimated a little bit.
No, yeah, I definitely do agree. Daimao is able to bring this back thanks to the 3-gen, gets the kill onto Xeno, now has Red, Arima, and Laser being the only ones up, and Arima, injured right now, has to go for that reset. The Sloppy Butcher wasting even more time, with no Call of Brian even need it to be applied right now, since all of these gens are regressing. We see one survivor trying to sneak into the web, but he's going to be found out by the Spider. Red is going to take an injure, runs towards the traps, but it's going to run wide to avoid them, and now we see another survivor coming towards, I think that was Arima or maybe Laser, one of the two, but no, that was Laser. Laser now found out that because of the trap, ooh, another trap triggered, but Daimao went for the trap at the same time. That's going to waste a little bit of time, a little bit of distance, and now we're going to see Arima being able to run away. However, if this does result in the injury, that's going to mean all survivors are injured currently, and Daimao will be in a much, much better position than even before, but ooh, Arima's taking him on a chase, making him go across the map, and Daimao notices that as well, and is now going to return back towards this side of the map, trying to force the survivors in a much more 3-gen oriented position, but finding out Laser, that's too sweet of a deal for Daimao right now. He was trying to look for one of these injured survivors, and finding Laser is exactly what you want right now. However, being on the shack as well is going to be very, very dangerous, but you find Red and Arima as well. All 3 survivors' locations are known. However, this also means that Laser is going to be able to have as many body blocks needed taken for him, so Daimao still not in the best of positions, but the survivors aren't getting any work done at the same time, so he's able to come over here and push for them as much as possible.
Yeah, now a really, really difficult work once again for Eviscerate here. They need this final generator, and they need it sooner. Daimao realizes that he just needs 1 or 2 additional stages here, and he is kind of giving up on the 3-gen, knows exactly what's needed. And that's also proving the great decision-making and the great experience here, the great judgment as a killer. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you 4K, you have a win condition, and you have a certain amount of points you need to reach. And if you are able to do that, then you have everything that your team needs, and Daimao has rotated over towards that strategy at the moment. Eviscerate struggling with the final generator. Arima is now going to be the target of Daimao, running towards the bottom side, but it is going to be 1 additional trap right here. Daimao now eventually decides to go back towards the top side, catches 1 other survivor that was just ready to hop back towards the top of the Astro's resting place here. Where's the 3rd survivor? That's going to be the question here. Red, we haven't seen him in a while. Is he able to work on generator number 5, or is he just popping up on the bottom side as well, going for a reset? That's going to be the question here for the final seconds or the final minutes of this trial. Damal checking once again, finding a good mix between checking the generators and attacking the survivors here. Looking good so far, looking strong. Eviscerate, as longer the game takes, I feel like they have less chance of winning this.
No, yeah, I definitely do agree. And honestly, since this is pre-recorded, I can check how much more time is left in this match. And that's a surprising amount of time left. I won't say how much, but it is a surprising amount of time left. We see the survivors now are going to try and force their ways into this region again and again, trying to break as many traps as possible, forcing the reset of the web from Daimao. But Arima takes a hit in the center of it. However, they do have a straight line out of here and a body block coming through, so they should be safe. Daimao is going to get a hit onto the back of Laser. However, if Laser or Arima, I was going to say run with that trap in front of them, they could be dangerous, but they immediately head over towards the right, trying to avoid as many traps as possible. And because of that, Daimao now is forced into chasing as a 110 killer against these survivors, but no filler is nearby. This could be the down finally onto Arima. However, just barely, even with Bloodlust, is able to make that pallet. The trap does go down, however, needing somebody else to either come in for a hit or able to play these windows perfectly. Daimao is going to go back and forth, going to go the wrong way around this TNL, forcing the vault from Arima and another one as well. But Daimao maybe potentially just going for the Bloodlust at this point, saying that I don't care about my 3 regen right now, I just need the stages. Getting the kill onto Arima would be huge here, because Arima is going to be worth the full 7 if you do get the kill. And also, you have Noed in the back pocket, so if you get a hook onto Arima and then a down onto Red, that could be a huge swing in your favor later into this match. The down onto Arima comes through. That's going to be another 3 points for OBOY, but the last generator is going to be popped, giving Eviscerate 2 more as well. This is going to bring it to 25 to, I believe, 31 now for OBOY, and it all comes down to whether or not we see these survivors escape right now. They all need to escape, I'm pretty sure, if they want to win it out.
Yeah, now very, very difficult move for Laser and Red. They have to move in. They need Arima off the hook. They need Arima out of this trial, but once again, slow Galio power over here. Know it right next to the hook. They had a good teacher there when the RNG got slow, and I don't see this going to happen. We talked a little bit about it. Hag has a difficulty to defend a hook if the survivors really want to take the out. However, that all changes as soon as no one escapes. Death is right next to the hook person and is not giving you any chance of going for an unhook here. So I think we will see Red and Laser just leaving the trial. They might try it though, because with the score, with the set based scoring, it doesn't really matter if they get 4K'd here or if they are taking the outs. It would just be the same result. They are lurking around. Potentially they are looking for the totem in the midsection, and as longer it takes, you start realizing,
second stage
maybe the totem is right. Yeah, now the second stage is confirming the win for OBOY. I think they could still try it maybe for the practice reasons, but and the juice, but other than that, there's nothing that Eviscerate will take off here. So OBOY taking the first set point here, really, really surprising, I have to say. I was really betting on Eviscerate, especially because we wouldn't expect a hack
they go for the save! They're adrenaline! But the down into Laser.
Really, Eviscerate was so confident with the hack pick here, so I was really, really pointing on them, but OBOY really able to put something up here.
We could see another down.
The Slack wants to keep another down here, yeah, wants to take 2 survivors in this one, and that is actually going to happen. There's no way that both of these survivors are going to leave the trial. That's going to be Arima going down here, and Red is the only one who is going to escape the trial here. So OBOY taking set number 1. Amazing work so far, and looks really, really promising.
Yeah. We're about to come in with our final score right now. I believe with Red coming out there, that's going to be a 28 finally for the side of Eviscerate. And with this last hook onto Laser, we would bring OBOY up to 37, giving a pretty substantial lead of 9 points for OBOY here. Very, very well played here on the Hag set. But as we move on now to the Plague set, it's going to be, another battle of endurance between these two sides. Like we said before in the previous match with Infernal versus Sequence, having two back-to-back endurance matches into now what is going to finally be a very, very interesting Blight game. If they do go over and head into that tiebreaker, into a fast-paced game, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens then.
Welcome back, everybody. Eviscerate and OBOY now moving over towards the suffocation pit on the Plague. OBOY 1, Eviscerate 0. That's the result after the hack on Astro's resting place. Really, really well played by OBOY and Killer Mao there. I'm So Moody is now going to take responsibility on the Plague set for OBOY. Already puking on the generators right here. We do see a nice setup on the top side, a corrupted 3-gen. Could only be better if the main generator would be on the back there, but you can't really complain, especially with the 4th generator there on the top mid as well. Nice try there with the trick shot through the little hole, but not going to be successful, so no infection just yet, but it's coming out just now. Red is taking it while vaulting over the window here in the main building. We saw Xeno there in the distance as well, I believe, attacking the generator. So that's going to be 2 survivors located already, but our killer is trying to catch Ace as quick as possible. Meanwhile, Arima is here on the top side as well, so Eviscerate has the risk to take a lot of injuries and infections early on here. And there's the Claudette as well. Everyone is up here on the main building side. We one should definitely going to take the infection here. That is going to be a puke. No, So Moody is not going to let slip, and that's a very quick infection here as well. Together with Red now, it's a very, very strong start for our Plague.
Yeah, we're going to see the infection and the break. However, V1 is going to be able to make it all the way towards the shack. However, the power is right next to where I'm So Moody is. That means that we're going to see the pickup immediately and potentially a down now onto V1. Ooh, but I think that was a Lithe. Able to make some distance away from shack because of that, and is not going to be able to catch up just yet in time. But ooh, we see Xeno also being found here. That ooh, I was going to say the hit onto Xeno is probably going to come through, but that sprint burst saves him just a couple more seconds, and V1 able to make it around the loop. Xeno now going to take an injury on there and potentially a down 2. Yep, I'm So Moody's able to get it down super, super fast into this trial without even a first generator popping. V1 also knows to be nearby. I'm So Moody's going to check over on that Jin, puking into the air, but not able to find anyone just yet. And ooh, a little bit of logger checking instead of picking up here coming from Xeno. Xeno's trying to waste some more time by crawling as well. These extra few seconds that he's getting is going to mean so much later in this game right now. But first, the first hook will come through now for OBOY, giving them 3 points to the 0 of Eviscerate, since they haven't been able to finish the gen. However, if I was to guess, I would think that 1 is about to pop very, very soon, as I'm So Moody hasn't been able to check much of the rest of the map. But ooh, a down onto Red will immediately come through as the unhook comes through. Xeno tries to go for the flashlight save, but it's not going to be enough. Red will get onto the hook. That's going to be another 3 points without a generator being finished. Xeno is nearby. We know that they're infected. However, they still have the shack to play around. I'm So Moody's going to go for some insane mind games. They won't be able to get a hit, and just barely, Xeno is able to make the vault and get away for now. A bamboozle, however, is going to come through, but it's not going to be enough for Moody to guy and get the down onto Xeno. Xeno still has the pallet to play around. I'm So Moody is definitely in this disadvantaged position right now. Ooh, the blind attempt comes through, but it's not going to be able to blind fully just yet. I'm So Moody is going to be able to avoid it just for a couple more seconds. Goes around trying to stay at this shack right now. Xeno is doing a little bit of juicing, as they say. In the meantime, a generator in the distance will get popped. We see the scratch marks of another survivor potentially trying to come in for the save as well.
Now a lot of chaos is going on here around the hook, so that is going to be a lot to work in, a lot to handle for I'm So Moody. You do have a good pressure here. Red is on the hook and about to hit the second stage. Xeno is injured. We1 is injured, so Arima is the only one that can really do something here. So a lot to do once again on the bucket list for Eviscerate. Only 1 generator so far. OBOY is really shining at the moment, and they do get a second generator on the top side. Kicking this one here real quick. Brian is calling for a little bit of regression here, but Red needs to be saved very soon. We did see a cleanse, so that might happen, but in just 30 seconds it would be Eviscerate being in a difficult spot of just being 3 survivors early on the suffocation pit here. So I'm So Moody is going to try take this as quick as possible and secure this very, very important elimination onto this survivor. We don't see anyone around, means that Eviscerate maybe takes the control of the generators there on the top side, but there is in fact we1 around together with our Xeno. Xeno is going to take the puke. Now the patience game is going to come out. Is it going to be I'm So Moody, or is it going to be Xeno successful with the unhook here? So far it's going to be the killer, and that's the grab onto Xeno. That's horrible for Eviscerate here. The immediate drop as well, making sure that the kill is confirmed. And then Xeno will take the stage here next to the Shag. So Eviscerate really, really struggling right now. And this could be a potential 4K now with this turn.
Yeah, this could be the 2-0 even coming out with OBOY. After this insane lead so far in this Plague set, I'd be very surprised to see OBOY being able to lose this. However, the survivors still have an opportunity to try and claw themselves back from the claws of defeat. We see another generator getting popped in the distance. That's going to be another 2 points for Eviscerate, bringing them up to 6, but it's only half of what OBOY has right now. And I'm So Moody is going to be able to grab that pot of Corrupt Purge as well. V1 is going to be the only, or Arena rather, is going to be the only person able to go in for the save right now, as V1 is broken, but they could cleanse as well, meaning that both of them could come in for the save. But again, another generator in the distance is going to be popped now up to 8 points. It's going to be a very close back and forth. Xeno almost dead on hook. Moody still has their power up. Arima or V1 can't really go in for the save right now because they just be instantly down by I'm So Moody. It's going to be a very close and back and forth, and I think there's no way for Xeno to get saved here, so it comes down to a 2v1 situation and whether or not these survivors are able to get that last generator popped. We see Arima in the distance as well. This is going to be very tense.
Yeah, this is so intense. And the 4K, I mean, if they avoid the 4K and somehow get someone out of the door here, I'm literally going to celebrate for Eviscerate because everything is looking against the odds here. Just 2 survivors standing in the trial, one of them also really easy to catch due to the loud sounds that comes with the infection. We won in the main building at the moment. There's going to be more power as well, so Arima potentially working on the generator right now in the distance, has to pull back, has to make sure that they're not caught by the Plague here. That could be end in a really quick down. So we need to find out what Eviscerate is doing with the next step here, but it's going to be a really difficult and really horrible task to fight for these 2 survivors. It's going to be interesting if V1 finds a cleanse opportunity as well. There's Arima in the distance on the left side here, being caught now by I'm So Moody. The power is up, so that's dangerous here, hitting around the corner a little bit, so that's now going to be Mind Game as well, working out. Not Eviscerate's match here, unfortunately, but we want Arima able to make it over the pallet one more time here, but Eviscerate fighting against the dangerous pressure from I'm So Moody. We do see the notification on the generator, someone is over there, so I'm So Moody will rotate in a second, making sure that generator
able to cut them off.
No chance to pop. We want kind of running into the killer here, as I'm So Moody was perfectly predicting the movement. That should be a quick puke, and that should be the down, but he doesn't have the power anymore. What am I saying? It needs to be a normal mind game on this tier now. That could be difficult.
Oh, and makes
and
the distance.
W was a very great move here, so really impressive how they struggle free in this situation.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for I'm So Moody to lose here. However, the survivors are doing a great job of wasting I'm So Moody's time. Anyway, it's going to be very difficult for Moody to try and get any pressure without any pools of devotion either. So it really just comes down to whether or not Eviscerate's able to get this last generator done. And if they are, that's going to be a huge swing in the favor of Eviscerate. That means that if their killer was able to 4K at 1 generator remaining, which like we said is the normal result for a Plague, that it's going to be a very a very hard or very known win condition for Eviscerate, and them having played these Plague matches so much, they're going to be in such a strong position. We see Arima using that balance lighting to make their way around the main building, now going over towards the fillers and just wasting as much time as possible. In the meantime, V1 is definitely working, cranking that generator that we saw earlier. We see the mind games back and forth from I'm So Moody. He goes for a swing as well, but hits the tree, plus 10 wood, not the stone just yet, but is going to chase around this filler plot just some more. Wasting these seconds, however, means that V1 is going to be working on this generator. The down comes through, but is it enough for V1 to get this last generator? That's the question. Well, I'm somebody's going to go for the hook as well. This could mean that the survivors are able to finish that last generator, and this would be a huge swing in the favor of Eviscerate here.
That would be really huge. These 2 points are so important because they're also going to swing the win conditions so much. You would need an out now, so that opens up all end game strategies for your killer player.
There it
No way
is!
out. No one escapes death, and they actually make it. They made it happen here. What a play by Eviscerate against the odds, just getting generated number 5 here. Now it also comes down, maybe we want going beyond that, maybe a hatch play, maybe trying something crazy. At least a head-on for the style points is coming up here. Arima has no chance to go for Kobe attempts here to make the hatch appear a little bit faster. So V1 would actually need to stay up for minimum 40 seconds, and then the 2 failed skill checks in the struggle phase. So that's going to be a really, really long time. There's 1 additional filler pallet, but it's in the corner here, and if the killer zones that correctly, there's no way that, yeah, nice fake here, nice try, but not going to throw him off. So I'm So Moody is going to take the 4K here, which should be 28 to 10. 4Ks are always so easy to score. That's really good if teams are going for that. But that was a very nice match here, and since this is pre-recorded, we have the huge advantage that we can just hop into the next trial. So, ladies and gentlemen, we take a very quick break, set up the trial number 4 here, and let's see who's taking set number 2. Welcome back, the quickest break in DBDLeague history. We should work more with the recordings. So let's see what's happening here. So Zeno for Eviscerate. Oh boy, on the survivor side now, 10 to 28. We need a 4K on 1 generator standing for the win. All generators done would be tie, and if OBOY manages to get all gens and then go for outs, that would be the win. Very interesting head-on. What is this new head-on in the first 10? Is that a new trend in comp I didn't get yet, or what do you think is it?
Oh, I think they were potentially trying to go for the stun, but I don't think head-on counts as like a stun to get rid of the power. OBOY, however, is going to be able to take that corrupt red purge twice and get it down even faster than we saw in the previous match. Oh, Zeno's really starting off strong, getting 3 points immediately, 30 seconds in the match for Eviscerate, and you know, very much starting off strong here. Now OBOY needs to be working on this gen pressure. If they're going to have 1 survivor already downed right now, Zeno's going to have all the cards in his favor. Zeno will find another survivor and pressure them off a generator. That means that only 2 survivors, or 1 survivor rather, can work on a generator, because one of them has to also go in for the save. So Zeno needs to really prioritize trying to find another survivor at this point, or camping out OBOY as fast as possible and getting those confirmed 7 points off of that, and trying to play a 3v1 as best as possible. But this down so fast is really spelling a very, very you know, dire air for OBOY, who, you know, was in an opportunity to 4K at 1 generator, but because Eviscerate was able to get that last generator, now puts them in a much, much better position. And having it hook this early is definitely going to be a very, very strong contender in the favor of Eviscerate here right now.
And that is going to be now the puke again, the dangerous puke here for Zeno, really able to punish OBOY for the huge risk they have taken in the early game. Second stage already, just a few seconds away from the elimination here. 40 seconds, then OBOY would already lose his survivor, and we haven't seen any generators yet. Could mean they are splitting up, and we see 3 generators coming out very soon. On the other hand, Zeno was really quick with the down, so I doubt that we would see 3 generators in exchange here, and OBOY needs a serious adjustment in their strategy. Either they're coming in for a double save, which will be really difficult with the power, or they need to make sure that from now on they have long chases and a perfect coordination, because losing a survivor at potentially 5 generators still standing is already putting you on a very, very bad track for this game here. 1 generator, 2 generators done at the top side. That's really important here. 4 points going for OBOY for that, but they actually lose Obi here. That's going to be the 3v1 scenario early on the suffocation pit, and it couldn't be worse for the survivor team here.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, you know, usually we see a camp out at the start only result in 3 generators be done, but only 2 were done here at the start. It means Zeno definitely has the advantage coming here into the next situation. Rocket is going to take an M1 as well. That means Zeno is going to be able to chase them down and potentially even get a pull off of this hill or a zone away from all these pallets. He's cutting them off. A great positioning from Zeno, great pathing. However, they are able to just make a filler barely, but we see Rocket is going to be chasing around this filler, just couple more seconds. Xeno was able to cut him off for a couple of those, but no, not able to try and get the down just yet. The stun does come through, and now it really comes down to whether or not Xeno is going to commit to bloodlusting this, or if Rocket's able to get the fastball, they get the medium vault, but even then, that's still going to be enough, and the live is going to come through. That means Xeno is going to try and go for a mind game. I thought he was leaving, but no, a mind game is going to come through. The pallet drop will come through onto this filler, trying to play around it, but the bloodlust is too much. 3 stacks, 1 generator, 2 generators get popped, but Rocket goes down.
This is exactly what OBOY needs here, making sure that they are taking the most from the chase times. This one was relatively long. 2 generators here, really important. However, you do need an additional one, and you do need to make sure that we are going into this with basically an out as well on the side of OBOY here. So a lot of work to do still, especially with only 2 survivors in the trial right now, but Xeno a little bit far away from the generators, at least to this one at the shack. It's a little bit travel time, so good for the survivors here. We do catch our Dwight. No, that's not going to be the case. So trying to mind game around it here, but I'm So Moody has already made it towards the pallet, but it's just holding W, avoiding with the corners here.
Ooh, he gets the full infection!
That they would be infected, but unfortunately vaulting into the killer here. That's a lot of infection now onto our Dwight here, who just has this filler pallet here and should be infected and fully broken in a few seconds here. And then you need to make sure that your run is staying up for longer.
Oh, and it's not going to! We see Xeno being able to swing through the pallet and get the down onto I'm So Moody. Rocket, in the meantime, is going to become fully broken. Daimao is going to become infected from working on a generator. However, Xeno isn't going to go for the hook. Instead, now going to return back to the survivors, trying to keep his 3 gen up for as long as possible. The down is going to mean a lot, but not enough if Xeno isn't able to defend these generators. So breaking them is definitely the right call here in this scenario, but seeing that nobody's really working on them and already applying that call of Brian means that Xeno can now return back to I'm So Moody. And the question is now, are the survivors able to get him up in time? And I don't think they will be able to. Xeno's going to kick another generator, give him even more seconds, but I didn't see any scratch marks near where I'm So Moody was down, but it seems like Xeno's not going to commit to that either. Instead, again, returning back to these generators, making sure that nobody can work on them. So scared that these are going to pop right now, and instead of taking the guaranteed points of I'm So Moody, he's going to try and play around for the 4K. We saw this earlier in the match with Infernal versus Sequence, where Slow was trying to play this out as well, but not able to make up for it, and I'm So Moody is going to be picked up, but Rocket is found at this pallet gym, and another down will come through, and the eruption value as well will come through. Wow. 2 survivors not being able to work on the generators, 2 of them being regressed, and Rocket now being downed. I believe this might even be the death onto Rocket as well. No, just the second stage.
Good for OBOY here, though, that they have 60 additional seconds, because I thought for a second that
the down was
another down right here, right next to the hook. OBOY, what is
this could be the 3-minute slide.
Caught out right next to it. That's going to be a slug, very likely. Xeno knows exactly that this would be the win condition for him. If this Dwight is going down, I'm So Moody, if they are down, that would be the 4K right here, and that would mean that Eviscerate is taking set number 2 by a 2-point lead here. Mind games around the shack. Is I'm So Moody able to make it all the way back? Mind games not working out here that easy. So Xeno is trying a few other moves now. The vault into the survivor here. That was really good in cutting off the distance. Shack pallet being sacrificed, but towards the wrong direction. Basically, it is going to be the survivor zone towards the edge of the map. Has another filler pallet as well. We haven't seen the pickup yet as I'm breaking this band versus the Plague. So it's just going to be a few Pocus attempts here by Xeno onto the back of the Dwight. But what a strong performance here. This is from both now, actually showing off here OBOY in the last seconds, but very likely this is going to be Eviscerate taking the win here.
Yeah, we see Xeno just trying to stack up these bloodlusts. Ooh, he goes for the swing, almost hits, but not enough, and I'm somebody's able to make it around onto this pallet. He's doing a bit of last man stand juicing. If he's able to get Daimao up, this could play for a hatch game, but when he gets Daimao up, he will go down. So because of that, Xeno is now forcing the survivors away from where that hatch is. However, this could be a tactic of a Daimao going down across the map, potentially getting I'm So Moody out during the hatch, but Daimao is going to head back for safety towards this pallet gym, trying to play around it, but Xeno, we've seen the mind games, and another one will come out, and a down, now on to Daimao. That's going to bring Eviscerate, if they're able to get both hooks, up to 38 to OBOY's 36.
Insane game, insane Eviscerate. Insane Eviscerate playing here, insane OBOY playing here, and these 2 points also showing us how close these two teams are. And who could be a better tiebreaker than Blight?
Yeah.
With very fast gameplay, quick decision making, able to put up pressure. So it's going to test Eviscerate OBOY in a whole new way, in a whole different way. Here we have seen very much coordination in Hag and Plague. Now they need to change mindset and then go in here. So once again, advantage of pre-recorded matches, ladies and gentlemen. We will be a little bit quicker. I kind of start liking this, and we talked about it. We might change our production a little bit for more viewer quality in the future, so stay tuned. But the next break should be very short as well. Welcome back, everybody. The promised short break here. Here we are. So let's go for it. Blight on the Suffocation Pit. V1 coming out. Very, very known Blight player, trying to make sure that it is going to be a ton of pressure here on the Coal Tower. I was saying Suffocation Pit, I think. It's the Coal Tower. We all love the blue Macmillan appearance, and sometimes you can mix it up. Com Tower on the Blight means that there's a lot to do in terms of decision making. It's very fast. You don't have a free minute there to really go for your tactics. So everything needs to be on point, and so far it looks relatively good. What OBOY is putting up here, they are able to not take an injury already 50 seconds into this game here. So I really like OBOY's start.
Yeah, I do too as well, being able to get a lot of pressure so far against the killer because of these long chases. Now we're going to see that V1, however, is going to switch targets, trying to find somebody else, and I think they're going to be able to find someone out in the open. However, they are able to just barely make their way around onto this, I believe, 4-lane over here, but V1 is not able to convert that into a hit just yet. Right now, again, I want to keep in mind, Blight on the Coal Tower is a very interesting matchup for not only the survivors but also the killer. It makes very, very fast matches, even faster than we saw with the Spirit game earlier today. We're gonna see a lot of deaths and downs here. We see now the first hit, however, is gonna come through now onto I'm So Moody. V1 should be able to convert this into a down, as well as we're on a 4-lane, but no, gonna go for the pallet kick. They do have that brutal strength, however, but ooh, it's still not enough to get the hit before they make it to the main building. And knowing that the main building is so strong, V1 is going to return now back towards the other survivors, goes around, but ooh, isn't able to get a hit onto another survivor or a down. V1's gonna kick this generator with that brutal strength, with that Call of Brine, and now return back to where they see another survivor working on a generator. That's gonna be the Call of Brine notification alerting V1 that someone is nearby, and I believe that was Rocket or Daimao running towards V1 right there as well. But we'll see them now returning back to the hill, but no, V1's not able to convert it. Once again, the survivors are doing a great job of just spreading out where V1 can be, not really giving up anything at all. They gave up one hit and then immediately were able to heal themselves, and a down hasn't even come close to right now. And ooh, getting the stun on this pallet as well is going to be so huge for OBOY here. Eviscerate's V1 definitely needs to try and get a down as fast as possible, as it seems like 3 gens are very close to popping. Daimao will now take another hit, the second hit of the game right now, but only being the only survivor injured. V1, however, is going to be in a pretty strong position now that this survivor is playing around a 4-wall, but it seems like a little bit of life is going to come through right there, giving a little bit more distance for Daimao right there. They're going to be able to make the window now, but ooh, they go for the double vault, and that means the vault straight back into the killer. There's one more gen. Are we going to see 2? Are we going to see 3? That is the question right now. If we do see 3, this is definitely going to be OBOY's advantage. There's the second one. Come on, give me a third. I'm hoping for it, but Dyer, what do you think so far?
So far, I think they are doing a really good job. V1 is such a known Blight in the community, right? It's not a random Blight that is coming up. It's not a scrim Blight, not a practice Blight, not a Blight like me. It's a V1 Blight from Eviscerate, and one stage in exchange for 2 generators done is huge, especially on the Coal Tower. Absolutely amazing. So this is going to be a lot of pressure now for V1, and there needs to be a huge pickup of pressure against this survivor team. They do get a 3rd generator done and a reset onto Dwight here, so they are doing a really good job here, and trying to go for additional bumps. That's a very nice down here, going for hook stage number 2 in just a second. But OBOY still in the dominant performance here, still in the very, very good position. We see the notification on the next generator already. They're just spreading out across the call tower here, back and forth. Now our
Ooh, the stun.
was this one here, taking the stun though. So our survivors now also shining with a little bit of confidence here. Looks really, really good. Looks really, really promising. And I would really love to see more here, because OBOY is setting themselves up for potentially an insane result here.
Yeah, they could even have a 3-man out if they play it correctly. However, V1 is going to try and convert this into a better result for Eviscerate. We see the hit now onto I'm So Moody. He's able to take a down now for Daimao, who tries to go for the dead hard, but it's not going to be enough. Daimao, however, is still not far behind. V1 could be greedy here, and they are going to choose to do so, and getting the kill on to Daimao right now. But are they going to be able to convert it? It seems like they're going to, and ooh, because of a medium vault, they're going to get the hit on the back of Daimao. I'm So Moody in the meantime needs to be picked up. However, if OBOY wants to convert this into something that's not so bad, or they need to pop 2 generators, either way, it's going to be a better result for them. I'm So Moody gets picked up. Come on, do we see at least 1 generator popping? That is the question. It doesn't seem so, as V1 is immediately after killing the likes of Daimao, interrupting a generator from OBOY now.
Yeah, now we talked about the great pressure from OBOY, right? And now this double slug costs a lot here. The elimination into the 3v1 as well. We won Ori at the tail of the next survivor, and we see instantly how the game is slowing down here. 2 generators for the past few minutes here, and there's no
and the down into OBOY
side of the next one. Obi really,
yeah.
really quick down as well. So strong here. Just 2 survivors now that are able to work on the generators. One of them will be needed very likely to go for the unhook here. That means as soon as the next survivor is going into a chase, there's nobody who can repair the generators, and at this point of the game, it's kind of freezing down towards 0 gen pressure here. So OBOY, after a very nice start, now in the difficult position, Eviscerates V1 really fighting back, taking them under control, and doing damage reduction as much as possible. 4th generator being done, and a nice save just when V1 was far away. That's going to bring enough time for OBOY to also go for a little cheeky play here on this pallet, which is also going to waste more time, especially with the lifetime play and a nice juke. So OBOY fighting back now. What a back and forth here. Roller coaster again.
Yeah, all these matches today have been really, really close back and forth. We see the hit. Now on to Rocket, however, V1 is in a great position to potentially get it down, but instead they're going to leave. They're not going to try and waste any more time. We are only at 1 more generator left. They're not going to try and waste, as the survivors can be doubling on another generator. V1's finds the scratch marks of one of them. Are they going to be able to convert this into down? No, instead they're going to leave. Obi is going to be left at that pallet, now going to return back to the shack where we find another survivor. This is probably going to be I'm So Moody, but V1 is just going to take the kick onto it, using that brutal strength plus that brutal or Call of Brine to try and regress that generator as much as possible. No pop goes the weasel since the hook hasn't come through recently. However, V1 is now immediately going to leave, not going to commit to the chase on I'm So Moody. Instead, going to find Obi, who I believe is going to be able to get away thanks to a dead hard? Was that potentially a dead hard? I thought I'm So Moody had the dead hard. Maybe that was an off the record or something similar. Maybe a BT. I don't remember. I don't know honestly what that could have been there. What do you think, Dyer?
I don't know what to think anymore when it goes so back and forth, because the entire day today was such a roller coaster on a whole here. I do think OBOY is in a difficult spot right now. I do think Eviscerate has done so well taking over the pressure again here after a very bad start. I mean, we were talking about 1 plague stage in exchange for 2 generators. So, but now we won really quick with these downs. Rocket going down here again. Obi still injured. Makes me think they're pressuring the last generator and trying to pressure through it. But if that doesn't work, it could be a huge risk that is also potentially turning into a 4K. We've seen that earlier today as well. But however, this Shack generator has 60% of progress. It is going to be a kick with Pop Goes the Weasel, and we know that the survivor is close by. Will V1 be able to find them? That's going to be the question. Rocket not off the hook just yet, so the survivors in the distance, potentially now on the top left, repairing the coal tower generators right there. Checking the corner here as well. Costs a little bit of time, but definitely worth it. Could be that the survivor is over here now. spotting them, now being aware that they are over here. Next injury coming through. Obi is injured as well. They need to find a perfect moment to go for this unhook, and if they are not able to do that, we are potentially facing another double stack right here. But we want just taking the attention on interrupting the generators now. Call of Brian coming in, and I think that's a good decision here because this survivor is pinpointed in the corner anyway, so you have the time, you have the down, and that's also not going to be the Shaq gen completed.
Yeah, this is a lot of time that the survivors are going to need to try and work away from V1 right now. You know, V1's doing a great job at just playing optimally, playing, you know, for those regressions, playing with this combo of Pop Goes the Weasel and the Call of Brian. It means that the survivors really can't commit to any of these generators because V1 can just instantly regress it basically back to 0 no matter how much progression you have because of that huge debuff of 25% of whatever the generator currently is at regressed, and then the Call of Brian regressing at 200% the speed of a normal generator. It just leads to situations where the survivors are going to have a very tough back and forth, and where no matter how progressed those generators are, they're really not going to have a lot of progress on them if V1's able to get it down. And with how wonderfully V1 has been able to play this so far, and how wonderfully they've been able to get the downs at least in the late game, that means that these survivors are going to go, these gens are going to go very slow. Obi in the meantime is going to be able to get saved off the hook. Only 2 survivors are healthy right now, however, so if V1's able to find Obi, and I believe they are, there is the borrowed time coming through once again. This means that V1 could potentially go for the tunnel, but no, instead going to return back their generators, not even allowing their survivors to get as much pressure as they want on these generators. Instead, just going to continue to keep them at low percent so that he gets even more of this value out of kicking these generators with this Call of Brian and Pop Goes the Weasel combo. V1 now has 2 survivors injured. It knows exactly where the third one is. Rocket on this generator at the shack is going to be able to pressure them off of that as well. The survivors, however, are doing a great job of splitting up here now in the late game. What they need to do, however, is just slow down and make sure that they're playing for resets and make sure that V1 can't get any more points past this point. Oh, we see, however, Rocket's going to be able to hop in the locker, will take an M1 for it, but waste a couple more seconds, not allowing V1 to immediately convert this into a hit, and because of that, V1 is going to have to return now back towards the top side of the map, not going to continue the chase onto Rocket. However, Rocket might get greedy. They might continue to work on that generator, and if they do, V1's going to be able to find them later and get it down over there. We see V1 tries to convert this into a hit, but I'm So Moody just going to able to play the pallet and now returns back to the center. V1 will kick this, but should immediately return now back to the shack, and we see the loud noise notification. We know that Rocket did continue to work on this, and this could potentially lead into a down if V1's able to convert it.
Yeah, now this is going to... Oh, is he able to catch this? Just around here, they're able to do that. Rocket is going down. That's so huge for V1 here. What a wonderful down rushing across the entire coal tower and then getting him around the corner there. Really beautiful play by V1. Now Rocket going into hook stage number 6, I believe it is overall. So that's also going to be 60 seconds away from elimination. But generator number 5 coming out. They are actually going into the end game here. Now the difficult question, is it going to be an end game slug last second here with this survivor also being down now, or is it going to be the I'm So Moody pulling something last second here? Where is our Dwight? He's injured. So I think he was going for the save. For the survivor, they went for the save back there. So V1 now has to take care of 2 survivors. They will immediately split up to make sure that V1 has to make a decision, that V1 has to monitor 2 areas of the coal tower. One of them is down here on the bottom left side, but just faking it, going back towards the midsection, trying to figure out where the survivor over here is, and it's around the boxes, but not finding the hit here. What an action in the end game, and there is still a pallet, so you can extend this chase here that could potentially give you the chance to go for the outs there. 2 survivors standing, one of them in chase, one of them potentially picking up Obi or just going for the exit door here. The difficult decision also now for OBOY. I would say take the 1 stage, I believe it would be. Yeah. Take it, but at least go for the out. That's already huge enough with the Blight on the coal tower. We haven't seen that many outs here. So if Rocket manages to escape, that would be insane, the 11 stages here. And it does look like it's going to happen. 3 lights over there. We won using this one here. And it is going to be
not able to
out for OBOY. So that's going to be, I believe that's 1 stage out of the door there.
Yes,
And,
that brings OBOY up to 11 points. If Eviscerate is able to kill the last 2 remaining survivors, that will lead them to 26. However, this is expected to be a 4K at no generators remaining. Getting that one out is actually huge, even though you're thinking it's only 1 point. Well, in reality, it's going to be a 3-point swing since you're also denying 2 points for Eviscerate and giving yourself 1. But on top of that, this is a 4K map. Not getting a 4K is going to change the result of what you're usually expected to get here on this map. Now going to bring Eviscerate up to 19 points. Oh, sorry, wrong one there. Eviscerate, not OBOY, up to 19 points, and with this final hook up to 26 because of the +7 that I'm so moody. The remaining fresh hook, who you wanted to get out there in the late game, will result in 26. Oh, not 126, 26 to 11 here for this first set in the tiebreaker for Blight, and we'll see after, again, thanks to being pre-recorded, a very short break, who is going to come out as the victor here in this matchup.
Is it going to be Eviscerate or is it going to be OBOY in trial number 6 on the Coal Tower with the Blight? Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen. Arima, Xeno, Laser, and we won on the survivor side against Daimao. And what a confidence proof here. Straight into the trial, waiting at the pallet there and taking the stun. Really, really great start from Eviscerate here. And let's take a look onto the Coal Tower here. We do have Corrupt Intervention with, I believe, a wonderful 3-gen being corrupted and a nice blind as well. So that's going to be a juicy start for Eviscerate here, playing this almost like a pub game, really confident, but they are taking the first injury here. Win condition is a 4K on all generators remaining. That would be fine. If 2 stages would leave out of the door, that would mean that it's going to be the win for Eviscerate, and that was a bad play by Arima here, but able to save themselves with the DH, then the head-on, then the blind with the firecracker. So Eviscerate really juicing up in the first seconds here.
Yeah, Daimao is going to have to continue on this chase now with Xeno trying to get the first down as fast as possible. However, they do have access to not only 1 pallet, but also this little trash tail, but it's not going to be enough. Daimao is going to be able to get the down onto Xeno, and a very quick down at that. We know we saw a quick down previously, but the survivors also have a lot of time to work on the generators, but somehow they're also going to be able to pop a gen at the same time. Eviscerate has the lead here, meaning OBOY is going to have to try and make up for what they lost in the survivor set. And with the start of Eviscerate, you know, already getting a generator done, that's very, very scary as the killer of OBOY.
Very scary indeed. Eviscerate in general going to be really, really scary, but when they are really coordinated, then they are literally one unit together. We do see Xeno here going towards the hill. That's very likely going to end in a balanced landing play that would grant a little bit of distance and potentially enough to reach a pallet. That's going to be the case here. Really, really good work, and making sure that there's more time for the generators. We have 1 so far. We need 4 more and then 2 stages out of the door. Keep that in mind as fans of Team Eviscerate. We need 2 stages out, and that was very close here on the window, but not able to hit the survivor just yet. We are instead rotating over towards the right side of the top of Coal Tower here. There's another generator that is currently attacked. We do see the scratch marks leading away from it, and that is going to be Laser now taking a hit and the vault over the window, and Daimao with a difficult decision. We see the head flicking left and right here, and now deciding to go back towards this generator over here. Wants to make sure that the survivors are constantly under pressure, and that's going to be an injury. You only have this pallet here trying to go for the swing that makes Arima reach the next pallet here. Nice fake there as well by the survivor, now cutting a lot of time from Daimao. Nice stun as well, and the blind. So Eviscerate keeping up the juice and slowly working towards a potential win here. Wow.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of pressure here. I could see 3 generators popping in the next couple of seconds. We have Arima only allowed to run around this tower right here, not able to make any distance. Daimao, however, misses a rush. That's going to waste even more time. Misses another one. Arima's going to be able to get out because of that. We saw a generator pop. There should be another one coming here soon. Daimao has to switch targets right now and get it down as fast as possible. Xeno, however, the only other person injured right now, the only one that you really can worry about or switch onto, as the other 2 survivors are going to be able to run you for at least a decent amount of time. Missing those 2 rushes right there just spelled disaster for Cannell, as Arima is going to get healed up, and I would expect to see either Xeno getting healed up soon or some more generators popping as well.
Yeah, a few more generators are very likely going to be the case. Even though if they heal Xeno, they still have a good control over the match here. But I mean, for Eviscerate, if it's Trauma, I would say they're definitely going to heal, because Trauma is always keeping it safe. On Eviscerate, I don't know, sometimes Eviscerate is on such a run that they don't care for any safety, and Xeno is going down, in fact, because of that. And I do think it is going to be the basement right here, but Daimao decides differently, is instead picking the hook right next to the generator over here. I think that can work out, especially with the Call of Brine being right in reach here together with the overcharge,
so
and the
done.
goes to Weasel as well. So that's a very good choice here, but they instantly go for the unhook. Really aggressive play here by Eviscerate, not able to go for the BT hit. So Laser is going to be down, and Daimao knows that he needs more pressure. He's trying to go for the double slug here. Huge risk, and if it would pay out, that would be huge. But Xeno is able to still get away with the borrowed time here, moving all the way towards the shack. Daimao needs to make sure now that Laser is not going to be picked up, so it's going to be difficult.
It's definitely going to be difficult. Daimao needs all the pressure he can get. Laser gets picked up in the meantime. They should be able to finish and double that generator that Daimao was trying to get rid of before. We saw that it was so close to finishing. Daimao was able to kick it with Call of Brine, overcharge, and top goes the Weasel. But still, those survivors are going to be able to double it and get it done in no time, as Xeno is going to go down into the I heckin' love comp corner. And that's going to be another down now onto Xeno. Another hook onto Xeno here. That's going to be a huge, huge swing in the favor of OBOY here in this situation. However, it's still going to be very, very difficult to see the back and forth.
Now, Xeno on the elimination here. 1 generator remaining.
Oh,
no, it's the end game now.
What?
And we have so much more work to do for OBOY. How did they
get all the gens?
So quickly, Eviscerate on the absolute efficiency grind. I was never expecting that here. What a move by Eviscerate. And we talked about it. You would need a 4K right here, but look at the stages. We just have so less stages. We have so much work to do.
Only
9
3 stages
would be needed on top of that here. 9 stages on top of that. No way out. No one escapes death. And nothing else for the end game here, and that is going to be so difficult. I don't know how they managed. Oh, and then DH I don't know how they got gen number 5, but it's an absolute miracle here by Eviscerate. What a beautiful play here. 3 stages against the Blight is on Colta, an absolute
and now it's just running to the basement
in DBDLeague, and now going into the basement here. Nice finisher. That would be 6 stages on Blight Colta. What a dominance.
Yeah, that was such a reverse. Eviscerate started out with a very, very early down, and then Daimao was able to keep up the pressure up until Arima was able to force him to miss those 2 rushes, and then somehow they were able to finish 2 generators in the nick of time, and then the last one even faster than that, and all of them were able to, or 2 of them rather, were able to get out, and all of them were able to get a very, very dominant victory now against OBOY. That was so surprising. What do you feel about that, Dyer?
I still don't know how Eviscerate got the last generator done. I'm glad they are still in the tournament, so next time they're in VC, I actually want to ask them, just out of curiosity, because we know they are efficient, but we know they have great coordination, but this was actually surprising. And Eviscerate looking so strong. We have to say, to be fair, Eviscerate is kind of having ups and downs, but if Eviscerate has a peak, they are literally dominating, and then they pull 6 stages on the Cold Tower Blight, so they are going to be a dangerous opponent against Team Trauma this upcoming weekend, ladies and gentlemen.